A Worldwide Anti-Violence Organization Guide. Chapter 1. World Men's Anti-Violence Resources Organizations. World Anti-Violence Organizations. Partners for Prevention, working with boys and men to prevent gender-based violence. partners4prevention.com. Men and Boys, Virtual Knowledge Center to End Violence Against Women and Girls. endvnow.org/en/modules/view/9-men-boys.html. Engaging Men and Boys, Prevention Connection Wiki Project. wiki.preventconnect.org/engaging+men+and+boys. Men's Resources International, educating, consulting, and organizing for positive masculinity, USA. mensresourcesinternational.org. Africa Anti-Violence Organizations. Songki Gender Justice Project, HIV/AIDS, Gender Equality, Human Rights, includes Men as Partners Project, South Africa. genderjustice.org.za. Rwanda Men's Resource Center, aims to mobilize Rwandan men to support women's leadership, end men's violence and act as role models for positive masculinity. rwamrec.org. Men Against Violence Against Women, Trinidad and Tobago. mavaw.com. Asia and Pacific Australia and New Zealand Anti-Violence Organizations. White Ribbon Campaign, Australia. whitearibon.org.au. Coalition for Men Supporting Nonviolence, Adelaide. facebook.com/pages/coalition-men-supporting-non-violence/168694416525404. Terra Aid Men Against Violence, TMAV, New Zealand. tmav.org. Boys Talk, a program for young men about masculinity, nonviolence, and relationships, Australia. boys-talk.org.au. Boys Talk, written by Brooke Friedman, is a program for young men that examines masculinity, nonviolence, and relationships. Men Against Violence and Abuse, Mava, Mumbai, India, working to stop and prevent gender-based violence by involving sensitive men. mavaindia.org. Men Against Rape and Discrimination, Mard, India. relmard.com/1. Equal Community Foundation, India, engaging men to end violence against women. ecf.org.in. Working with Men and Boys, India-based. groups.yahoo.com/group/working with boys and men. Razan, Pakistan. rosan.org. China White Ribbon Volunteers Network. whitearibon.cn. Men, Boys, and Gender-Based Violence in South Central Asia. crin.org/docs/resources/publications/sc-masculinities.doc. Europe Anti-Violence Organizations. EuroWRC, European White Ribbon Campaign. eurowrc.org. White Ribbon Campaign, Pro-Feminist Men Finland. profministimihet.net/WRC. White Ribbon Campaign UK, working to get men to take a stand against violence against women. whiteariboncampaign.co.uk. Reform, Resource Centre for Men, Norway. reform.no/index.cfm. White Ribbon Campaign, The Other Half, Ireland. theotherhalf.ie/whitearibon. Latin America Anti-Violence Organizations. Instituto Promundo's work on violence prevention. promundoglobal.org. Chapter 2. World Anti-Violence Websites. Asia and Pacific Anti-Violence Websites. South Asian Network to Address Masculinities, SANAM. engagingmen.net/networks/SANAM. Men Against Rape and Discrimination, MARD, India. theralmard.org. Men Unite, Men Against Violence and Abuse Alliance, India. facebook.com/men.unite. Razan, Pakistan. rosan.org. Caribbean Male Action Network, CARIMAN. Carryman.org. Male Champions of Change. Male Championsofchange.com. Africa Anti-Violence websites. Songki Gender Justice Project, HIV/AIDS, Gender Equality, Human Rights, includes Men as Partners Project, South Africa. genderjustice.org.za. Congo Men's Network. wanaumetanazie.org. Men for Gender Equality Now, Kenya. megenkenya.org. Movement of Men Against AIDS in Kenya, MyAche. mmaak.org. Rwanda Men's Resource Center, aims to mobilize Rwandan men to support women's leadership, end men's violence and act as role models for positive masculinity. rwamrec.org. Europe Anti-Violence websites. Men for Gender Equality Sweden, Man för Jämställdhet. mfj.se. Manscentrum, Swedish men's centers addressing men in crisis. manscentrum.se. Working with Men, UK. workingwithmen.org. The Other Half, Men and Women Working Together, UK. theotherhalf.ie/default.aspx. Pro-Feminist Men Finland. Profministimihet.net. NEMM, Netværk for forskning om and og maskuliniteter, Denmark. NEMM.dk. Netværk for forskning om men, Norway. Manseforskning.no. Maltese Men Against Violence. Facebook.com/pages/men-against-violence/14374131364791124. Men Opposed to Prostitution. Zaramacho.eu. Towards a New Organization of Men's Lives, Emerging Forms of Work and Opportunities for Gender Equality, European Research Project 2001-2004. work-changes-gender.org. Der Dissens mit der hierarchischen Männlichkeit, Descent to Dominating Masculinity, Germany. Dissens.de. Männerberatung Graz, Men's Counseling Center Graz, Austria. Männerberatung.at. Männer Schweiz, Switzerland. Männer.org. Latin America Anti-Violence websites. Heterodoxia. Hombres por la Igualdad, offers updated information about miscellaneous pro-feminist issues for Spanish-speaking countries. Heterodoxia.org.es. Hombres por la Igualdad. Ido. De Hasta la Frontera, Pro-Gender Equality Men's Program. Hasta la Frontera City Council, Andalusia, Spain. hombresigualdad.com/default.hdm. Defying Gender Roles. Defyinganderroles.org. Prometeo, Pro-Gender Equality Men's Group, Leon, Spain. nodo50.org/prometeo/k_es.hdm. Hombres contra la desigualdad de género, Men Against Gender Inequality, Madrid, Spain. StopMachismo.net. North America Anti-Violence websites. National Organization for Men Against Sexism, NOMAS, USA. NOMAS.org. Men Can Stop Rape, USA, Washington, D.C. based national advocacy and training organization mobilizing male youth to prevent violence against women. mencanstoprape.org. Voicemail publication of the Men's Resource Center for Change. Voicemailmagazine.org. Mentors in Violence Prevention, MVP, USA. MVPSTRAT.com. Men Advocating Real Change, an online community of men committed to making real change in the workplace. onthemark.org/home. A Men's Project, AMP. amensproject.com. Men's Resources International, Educating, Consulting, and Organizing for Positive Masculinity, USA. mensresourcesinternational.org. Men's Resource Center for Change. mrcforchange.org. Men for Change, Canada. chebukto.ns.ca/community support/men for change/index.hdm. 100 Black Men of America, Inc. Chapters around the U.S. working on youth development and economic empowerment in the African American community. 100blackmen.org. Masculinity Project addresses the complexities of masculinity in the African American community. blackpublicmedia.org/project/masculinity. Renaissance Male Project, a Midwest, multicultural and multi-issue men's organization. RenaissanceMaleProject.com. Lean In Together. leanin.org/together. Out of the Man Box, Curate Collection by Charles Knight. OutofTheManBox.blogspot.com. Working with Men in Gender Health Collection, International. ingenderhealth.org/ia/wwm/index.html. The Defenders USA, a coalition of men across the United States who fight the commercial sex industry. sharedhope.org/join-the-cause/become-the-defenders/the-defenders-who-we-are. Men's Resource Center of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. SaskatoonMenCenter.com. Men Speak Up, Empowering Men to Advocate for Gender Equality, Harvard. menspeakup.org. Oh, brother, exposing the fall laces of the pro-feminist men's movement. NoStatusQuo.com/ACLU/OBrother/index.html. Men, Feminism, and Men's Contradictory Experiences of Power. MichaelKaufman.com. Alan Berkowitz, Rape Prevention. Men as Social Justice Allies of Women. AlanBerkowitz.com. Cracking the Armor, Power, Pain, and the Lives of Men, the full text, in PDF, of Kaufman's accessible Introduction to Men's Issues. michaelkaufman.com/articles/crackingarmor.html. Beyond Masculinity, Essays by Queer Men on Gender and Politics. BeyondMasculinity.com. Anti-Violence Research and Organizations at Universities. bcrw.barnard.edu. Barnard Center for Research on Women. bcrw.barnard.edu/blog. cfr.uga.edu. Center for Family Research, University of Georgia. research.uky.edu/crva. Center for Research on Violence Against Women, University of Kentucky. uky.edu/vaw. institute.dev, Institute on Violence Against Women Policy Studies. colorado.edu/csbv/index.html, Center for the Study and Prevention of Violence, University of Colorado at Boulder. vioc.rutgers.edu/index.php, Center on Violence Against Women and Children. socialwork.rutgers.edu. Rutgers University School of Social Work. unh.edu/ccrc. Crimes Against Children Research Center. unh.edu. University of New Hampshire. gemini.gmu.edu/cebcp/econsortium.html, eConsortium of University Centers and Researchers for Partnership with Justice Practitioners. gemini.gmu.edu/cebcp/index.html, George Mason University's Center for Evidence-Based Crime Policy. unh.edu/frl. Family Research Laboratory. unh.edu. University of New Hampshire Durham, NH. hsc.wvu.edu/icrc/pages. Injury Control Research Center, Emerging School of Public Health, Robert C. Byrd Health Sciences Center. wvu.edu. West Virginia University. hsc.wvu.edu/icrc/pages/about-the-icrc/logic-model, utexas.edu/ssw/cswr/institutes/idvsa, Institute on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. utexas.edu. The University of Texas at Austin. washburn.edu/ce/jcvvs, Joint Center on Violence and Victim Studies, Topeka, KS. fpg.unc.edu/tilde-niren/default.cfm, National Implementation Research Network. unc.edu. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Chapter 3. A Worldwide VAW Guide. Worldwide VAW Organizations. Sayanotoviolence.org. 16dayscwgl.rutgers.edu 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence Campaign, November 25 International Day Against Violence Against Women and December 10 International Human Rights Day. avonfoundation.org/causes/domestic-violence/seeths-igns. sayanotoviolence.org/around-world/news/international-day-elimination-message-fue-emsile-message. actionindiaworld.org, grassroots groups to campaign for women's rights. femnet.or.ke. The African Women's Development and Communication Network. acws.ca, Alberta Council of Women's Shelters. A province-wide voluntary organization supporting women's shelters and their partners, Edmonton, CA. Alternativaspacificas.org. Alternativas Pacificas AC, Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, MX. acwar.org/en. ASAWAR, the feminist Arab movement to support victims of sexual abuse. awidi.org. Association for Women's Rights in Development, an international membership organization connecting, informing, and mobilizing people and organizations committed to achieving gender equality. fahcia.gov.au/sa/women/overview/ofw/pages/default.aspx, the Australian Government Office for Women. Breakthrough.tv, India and the United States, Violence Against Women, Sexuality and HIV/AIDS, Racial Justice and Immigrant Rights, New York, New York. sdnp.org.gy/hands/crisisntre.html, Caribbean Crisis Centers and Agencies Working to Eradicate Violence Against Women. casa-amiga.org.mx. Casa Amiga Centro de Crisis AC. Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, MX. ciamcancan.org. Centro de Integral y Atención a la Mujer, Cancún, Quintana Roo, MX. Contra la Violencia.org. Centro de Orientación y Prevención de la Agresión Sexual, AC. Guadalajara, Jalisco, MX. CentroMujeresMexico.org. Centro Mujeres. unwomen.org/en/csw, Commission on the Status of Women. un.org/en/ecosoc. United Nations Economic and Social Council, Gender Equality and Advancement of Women. unwomen.org. exchange.futureswithoutviolence.org. Communications Exchange. Library of Materials Working to End Violence Against Women and Children. futureswithoutviolence.org. Futures Without Violence with support from the Avon Foundation.org. Avon Foundation for Women. cmc.org.mx/index.html, Communication y Información de la Mujer, Mexico, DIS Tirito Federal. cyber.law.population/domestic-violence/domestic-violence.htm, Domestic Violence Laws of the World. law.harvard.edu. Harvard Law School links to domestic violence laws in 30 countries, Cambridge, MA. endviolenceagainstwomen.org.uk. End Violence Against Women Coalition UK. EverydayVictimBlaming.com challenge the institutional disbelief around domestic and sexual violence and abuse. EqualityNow.org/English/index.html, Equality Now works for the protection and promotion of the human rights of women around the world. FGMnetwork.org. Female Genital Cutting Education and Networking Project, Tampa, FL. PreventGBVAfrica.org. GBV Prevention Network. 18 different countries in the Horn, East, and Southern Africa to build a just and violence-free world for women. Kampala, UG. svri.org/partnersprevention.hdm, Gender-Based Violence Prevention and Masculinities Research Project. svri.org/index.hdm, Sexual Violence Research Initiative. GenocideinterventionFund.org/gif_index.php, Genocide Intervention. GlobalFundForWomen.org. Global Fund for Women, San Francisco, CA. distal.ca/womlist/womlist.html, Global List of Women's Organizations. Facebook.com/Global Network of Women's Shelters, Global Network of Women's Shelters. ncdsv.org/publications_violence-women-international.html. globalrights.org. Global Rights. Working to create just societies founded on the principles of human rights, Washington, D.C. guamcoalition.org/index.html, Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence. hotpeachopages.net. Hot Peach Pages International Abuse Resource, an international directory of domestic violence agencies. Huairo.org. Huairo Commission. Women, Homes, and Community, Brooklyn, New York. inmujer.df.gov.mx. Instituto de las Mujeres del Distrito Federal, Mexico, Distrito Federal. icrw.org. International Center for Research on Women, Washington, D.C. iwtc.org, International Women's Tribune Center Commitment to Empowering People and Building Communities. Kwake.org. Kurdish Women's Rights Watch. Madre.org, Madre. English and Espanol, Demanding Human Rights for Women and Families Around the World, New York, New York. Metroc.org. Metropolitan Action Committee on Violence Against Women and Children, Toronto, ONT, CA. nodo50.org/mujeresred/mexico.hdm, Mujeres en Red Mexico, Chiapas, MX. mujereshoy.com. Mujeres Hoy Violence Against Latin Women in the USA. nwcave.org/home.html, National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation, Pacific Northwest of the United States of America. Vancouver, WA. nzfvc.org.nz. New Zealand Family Violence Clearinghouse, Christchurch, NZ. state.gov/s/gwi/index.htm, Office of Global Women's Issues. 1billionrising.org. 1 Billion Rising. vday.org/home, vday. 1 in 3 women on the planet will be raped or beaten in her lifetime. ncdsv.org/publications_1billionrising.html. onin3women.com, 1 in 3 women. A global campaign to raise awareness about violence against women, Seattle, WA. stopva.org/oskaya_the_the_national_women_center_Poland.html, National Women's Information Center Poland. partners4prevention.org. Partners for Prevention. 4 United Nations agencies. undp.org/content/undp/en/home.html, UNDP. unfpa.org/public. unfpa. unwomen.org/n, unwomen. and unv.org. UN Volunteers. Partners for Prevention, P4P, to coordinate and strengthen efforts to prevent gender-based violence across Asia and the Pacific. 1000peacewomen.org/eng/aktool.php, Peace Women Across the Globe, Bern, ch. RaisingVoices.org. Raising Voices. A non-profit organization working toward the prevention of violence against women and children, Kampala, UG. RedNacionaldeRefugios.org.mx. Red Nacional de Refugios. Sin como misión coordinar, defensa de los derechos humanos, mx. Refuge.org.uk. Refuge. A national lifeline for women and children experiencing domestic violence, UK. Shelternet.ca, Shelternet. Canada. Making the links for abused women, increase direct access to a local shelter, Toronto, ONT, CA. swc.gc.ca/index-eng.html, status of women Canada. StopVA.org. Stop Violence Against Women. mnadvocates.org. The Advocates for Human Rights tool for the promotion of women's human rights in the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, c. and the former Soviet Union, FSU, Minneapolis, MN. undp.org/content/undp/en/home.html, United Nations Development Programme. undp.org/content/undp/en/home/blog. Unfoundation.org. United Nations Foundation. unfoundation.org/what-we-do/campaigns-and-initiatives. Campaigns and initiatives. Unwomen.org. UN Women. EndViaNow.org. Global Virtual Knowledge Center to End Violence Against Women and Girls, an initiative of United Nations Women. dev.saynotoviolence.org. Say No, Unite, End Violence Against Us. Women Without Borders.org. US Women Without Borders, Ending Violence Against Women and Girls Worldwide. WFNet.org. Women's Funding Network, a project to help stop violence against women. VDAY.org, English. VDAY.org/de/about, Deutsch. VDAY.org/es/about, Español. VDAY.org/fr/about, Francais. Gritpirajnaya.wordpress.com, Violence on the Page, Symposium Compendium. prajnaya.in/initiatives.htm, Prajanya Initiatives. nodo50.org/mujeresred/violencia.htm, Violencia contra la mujer. Tolerancia cero con la violencia de género. Vitalvoices.org. Vital Voices, a global partnership to support women's progress in building democracies. Women and Equality Unit.gov.uk. Women and Equality Unit of the Government Equalities Office. homeoffice.gov.uk. Home Office. wave-network.org. Women Against Violence Europe, WAVE. womenthrive.org. Women Thrive Worldwide, Washington, D.C. womensaid.org.uk. Women's Aid, the national domestic violence charity, Bristol, UK. WCSDX.com. Women's Coalition of St. Croix, both English and Spanish, Christiansted, 6. Wedo.org, Women's Environment and Development Organization. Global Fund for Women.org/what-we-do/publications/other-resources/208-women's-fundraising-handbook, Women's Fundraising Handbook. globalfundforwomen.org. Global Fund for Women. hrw.org/women. Women's Rights. hrw.org. Human Rights Watch. New York, New York. un.org/womenwatch, Women Watch, United Nations. who.in/en. World Health Organization. who.in/violence_injury_prevention/violence/en. Violence and Injury Prevention and Disability. who.in/violence_injury_prevention/violence/sexual/en/index.html, Prevention of Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence. internationalwomensday.com, seamfi.org, Centro Mexicano para la Filantro and Iacute, A. foundationcenter.org/get-started/international. FAQs for international visitors to the Foundation Center. usmexicofound.org u.s Mexico Foundation. sayanotoviolence.org. svri.org World Resources/Sexual Violence Research Initiatives. svri.org/world-map. The Sexual Violence Research Initiative lists websites and resources for most countries. whitehouse.gov Anti-Violence Against Women. it'sonus.org, It's on Us, the White House Council on Women and Girls and the Center for American Progress to shift the way we think about sexual assault. whitehouse.gov/one is too many, one is too many, young women face the highest rates of dating violence and sexual assault. Global Rights for Women. globalrights4women.org. twitter.com/grf4women. facebook.com/globalrights4women. globalrights4women.org/resources-for-legal-reform. Legal resources. globalrights4women.org/blog. linkedin.com/company/global-rights-for-women. U.S. Department of Justice Office of Violence Against Women. justice.gov/ovw. justice.gov/ovw/domestic-violence, domestic violence. justice.gov/ovw/sexual-assault, sexual assault. justice.gov/ovw/dating-violence, dating violence. justice.gov/ovw/stalking. justice.gov/ovw/training-and-technical-assistance, training and technical assistance. justice.gov/ovw/identifying-and-preventing-gender-bias, gender bias, identify and prevent. justice.gov/ovw/protecting-students-sexual-assault, protecting students. justice.gov/ovw/tribal-communities, tribal communities. justice.gov/ovw/reports-congress, reports to Congress. justice.gov/ovw/selected-publications, selected publications. justice.gov/ovw/ovw-blog, blog. justice.gov/ovw/press-room, press room. justice.gov/ovw/careers, careers. justice.gov/ovw/freedom-information-act, OVWFOIA. Call 911 if you are in immediate danger. Contact your local police department to report stalking and stalking-related incidents and/or threats. National Domestic Violence Hotline. 1-800-799-SAFE, 7233. 1-800-787-3224, TTY. TheHotline.org. National Sexual Assault Hotline. 1-800-656-HOPE, 4673. RAIN.org. National Teen Dating Abuse Helpline. 866-331-9474. 1-866-331-8453, TTY. LoveIsRespect.org. United Nations Violence Against Women. EndViolence.un.org. un.org/en/index.html. endviolence.un.org/index.shtml. un.org/ar/women/endviolence. un.org/zh/women/endviolence. un.org/fr/women/endviolence. un.org/ru/women/endviolence. un.org/es/women/endviolence. endviolence.un.org/index.shtml. facebook.com/sayano.unite. twitter.com/$!!!!unite. Flickr.com/photos/unite to end violence against women. YouTube.com/user/United Nations End Violence.un.org/disclaimer.html. endviolence.un.org/about.html. endviolence.un.org/world.html. endviolence.un.org/action.html. endviolence.un.org/network.html. endviolence.un.org/resources.html. endviolence.un.org/contact.html. endviolence.un.org/orangedye.html. sayanotoviolence.org. stoprapinow.org. Chapter 4. DV Abuse Organizations from domesticshelters.org. List of DV abuse organizations from domesticshelters.org/national-global. Called CootyToutCanada.ca, cut it out for beauty and hair care professionals, training on topics. GoAskRose.com, Go Ask Rose. Through their Operation Safe Escape program they can help you, or someone you care about, safely get out of an abusive relationship when technology is being used to prevent escape. They apply the same security principles used by the military, law enforcement, and other personnel security environments to make sure you have the information you need now. loveisrespect.org, Love is Respect, National Teen Dating Helpline. As it suggests, this resource focuses on teen relationships and can be accessed by phone, text, or live chat. Run by the National Domestic Violence Hotline, it offers real-time, one-on-one support from trained peer advocates that offer support, information, and advocacy to those involved in dating abuse relationships as well as concerned parents, teachers, clergy, law enforcement, and service providers. northeastdv.org, National Network to End Domestic Violence. This Washington, D.C.-based outfit that was formed in 1990 as social change organization, dedicated to creating a social, political, and economic environment in which violence against women no longer exists. Though more focused on policy and supporting state coalitions and allied organizations, it does offer plenty of useful information and operates a separate NoMore.org, No More, most noted for its teal circular symbol and advertisements. No More was conceived to amplify the power of the domestic violence and sexual assault movement and to drive awareness and break down the barriers of stigma. victimsofcrime.org/r-program/stalking-resource-center, Stalking Resource Center. In 2000, the National Center for Victims of Crime partnered with the U.S. Department of Justice Office on Violence Against Women to create the Stalking Resource Center, SRC. SRC has trained over 100,000 professionals who work with victims in all 50 states, 2 U.S. territories, the District of Columbia, the United Kingdom and Germany, and provided technical assistance to hundreds of communities seeking to enhance their response to stalking. Featured on their website are victimsofcrime.org/r-program/stalking-resource-center/help-for-victim-safety-planning, stalking safety planning tips and victimsofcrime.org/stalking-resource-center/help-for-victim/address-confidentiality resources. 1in6.org/men/get-help/online-support-center, online individual chat and group support groups. 1in6.org/men, information on healing as well as helpful resources for family and friends, professionals, and through community outreach. 1in6.org, 1 in 6. Researchers estimate that 1 in 6 men have experienced unwanted or abusive sexual experiences before age 18. This organization offers aacd.com/apply-for-gbas, give back a smile. The American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry Charitable Foundation's Give Back a Smile program heals some of the most devastating effects of domestic and sexual violence, by restoring the smiles of adult women and men who have suffered dental injuries to the front 8 teeth only, from a former intimate partner or spouse, family member, or due to sexual assault. akaleltomin.org/r-program/national-initiatives, training, seminars, workshops. akaleltomin.org/livers-pect-on-campus, campus initiatives are specialties of this group that has presented to over 100,000 individuals and 3,000 organizations since its outset in 2002. akaleltomin.org, a call to men, as the name suggests, a call to men works to create a world where men and boys are loving and respectful and all women and girls are valued and safe. adwas.org, Abused Deaf Women's Advocacy Services. ADWAS provides a variety of services for the deaf, most notably in its partnership with National Domestic Violence Hotline in making U.S. nationwide helpline services to the non-hearing video phone calls, instant messaging and email. Contact 1-800-812-1001 or National Deaf Hotline at adwas.org. americanbar.org/groups/domestic_violence/statutory_summary_charts.html, statutory summary charts is available on this site. The Commission was founded in 1994 to increase access to justice for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking by mobilizing the legal profession and increasing the number of well-trained and supported attorneys. americanbar.org/groups/domestic_violence/about_us.html, American Bar Association Commission on Domestic and Sexual Violence. API-GBV.org, Asian Pacific Institute on Gender-Based Violence. The Asian Pacific Institute on Gender-Based Violence is a national resource center on domestic violence, sexual violence, trafficking, and other forms of gender-based violence in Asian and Pacific Islander communities. apps.americanbar.org/legalservices/find-legal-help/home.cfm, database to finding local legal resources and state by state. breakthecycle.org/leadership-education, national resources. breakthecycle.org, Break the Cycle. Break the Cycle provides comprehensive dating abuse programs exclusively to young people ages 12 to 24. From the classroom to the courtroom to the floor of Congress, they work to give young people, and those who care about them, the tools they need to live safer, healthier lives. Their website offers a breakthecycle.org/legal-services, legal resources specific to those who live in the Washington, D.C. area. bwjp.org/training.html, training and technical assistance, and a series of 6 important projects. bwjp.org/resource-center.html, resource center covering topics such as child custody, protection orders, firearms, and offender intervention. bwjp.org/index.html, Battered Women's Justice Project, since 1993 has been promoting justice and safety for victims of intimate partner violence and their families. Offers. bwjp.org/r-work/projects/protection-orders.html, interjurisdictional enforcement of protection orders. camphopeamerica.org, Camp Hope, first nationwide camping and mentoring initiative in the U.S. for kids exposed to domestic violence. Operates in collaboration with family justice centers, multi-agency centers, and community-based domestic violence and child advocacy agencies across the U.S. at no cost to the camper or their families. cdv.org, Childhood Domestic Violence Association. cdv.org/programs-and-tools, tools and resources. cdv.org/invincible-the-book. cdv.org/documentary, documentary. cdv.org/need-help-with-cdv, articles. cwlaw.org, Child Welfare League of America. CWLA is a powerful coalition of hundreds of private and public agencies serving children and families that are vulnerable since 1920. Their expertise, leadership, and innovation on policies, programs, and practices help improve the lives of millions of children across the country. cwlaw.org/training, trainings. cwlaw.org/conferences, conferences. cwlaw.org/conferences-events/e-learning, webinars. domesticviolencedatabase.net, National Domestic Violence Registry. Want to learn if someone has been convicted of domestic violence offenses? domesticviolencedatabase.nac.com/national-database #home, database that makes available the convictions of domestic abuse perpetrators and those offenders who have long-term criminal orders of protections placed against them. futureswithoutviolence.org/resources-events/webinars, webinar series, the futureswithout-violence.org/children-youth-teens/lessons-from-the-literature, lessons from literature, an excellent ongoing. futureswithout-violence.org, Futures Without Violence. For more than 30 years, Futures has been offering groundbreaking programs and campaigns empowering individuals and organizations to bring an end to domestic violence. Great examples include futureswithout-violence.org/engaging-men/coaching-boys-into-men, coaching boys into men. futureswithout-violence.org/health/national-health-resource-center-on-domestic-violence, National Health Resource Center on Domestic Violence, and much more. A forward-thinking organization and site definitely worth connecting. hotpeachpages.net, Hot Peach Pages. Maybe you're looking for help for someone outside the US. If so, this Canadian-based site is a global list of 10,000 abuse hotlines, shelters, refuges, crisis centers, and women's organizations in 110 languages in nearly 200 countries. JoyfulHeartFoundation.org, Joyful Heart Foundation, founded by Law and Order, Special Victims Unit actress Mariska Hargitay. Joyful Heart's mission is joyfulheartfoundation.org/programs/healing, joyfulheartfoundation.org/programs/education, joyfulheartfoundation.org/programs/advocacy, empower survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse, and to shed light into the darkness that surrounds these issues. learningtoendabuse.ca/sites/default/files/dvwork_survey_n.pdf, violence in the workplace. learningtoendabuse.ca, Center for Research and Education on Violence Against Women and Children, resourceful Canadian group with an ambitious array of resources including studies on National Centre-rdvtraumam.org, National Center on Domestic Violence, Trauma, and Mental Health. National Centre-rdvtraumam.org/training/webinars-seminars, webinars. National Centre-rdvtraumam.org/training/resources-for-advocates-trauma-informed-dv-advocacy, resources for advocates. ncadv.org, National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, long-standing organization that primarily focuses on public policy and training for programs and shelter professionals. Hosts periodic conference. ncadv.org/remember-my-name, remember my name registry of domestic violence deaths, and cosmetic and reconstructive support program that helps survivors who need cosmetic surgery in applying for services through 2 medical providers. ncdsv.org, National Center on Domestic and Sexual Violence, NCDSV's website. ncdsv.org/ncd_links.html, links to service providers, professional organizations, and advocacy groups. ncdsv.org/ncd_articles.html, publications on many topics, including in-depth section on the ncdsv.org/ncd_military response.html, military's response to domestic and sexual violence. The training and events. ncdsv.org/ncd_upcoming trainings.html, calendar is a valuable resource, as is its list of ncdsv.org/ncd_links hotlines.html, hotlines. ncdsv.org/ncd_news-interest-14.html, current news. ncdsv.org/ncd_jobs.html, internship and job board. ncdsv.org/ncd_funding-award.html, calls for proposals related to workshops, conferences, award nominations, funding and scholarships. ncea.acl.gov, National Center on Elder Abuse. The National Center on Elder Abuse, NCEA, serves as a national resource center dedicated to the prevention of elder mistreatment. The NCEA disseminates elder abuse information to professionals and the public, and provides technical assistance and training to states and to community-based organizations. ncea.acl.gov/resources/state.html, state-specific resources. ncea.acl.gov/resources/elderrights.html, National Elder Rights Resources. niwrc.org, National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. The National Indigenous Women's Resource Center, Inc. NIRC, seeks to enhance the capacity of American Indian and Alaska Native tribes, Native Hawaiians, and tribal and Native Hawaiian organizations to respond to domestic violence. NIRC prints. niwrc.org/restoration-magazine, Restoration Magazine, and offers the hotline 1-844-762-8483 Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. CST. Callers after hours have the option to connect with the National Domestic Violence Hotline. nationallinkcoalition.org, National Link Coalition, nationallinkcoalition.org/about us. The National Link Coalition is a multidisciplinary, collaborative initiative to increase awareness and address public policy, programs, and research. Intentional abuse in any form should be taken seriously. This organization serves as the national resource center on the link between animal abuse and human violence. nrcdv.org, National Resource Center on Domestic Violence. Through its special projects, NRCDV has been a source for 20 years for those wanting to educate themselves and help others on the many issues related to domestic violence. The special projects include Building Comprehensive Solutions, Domestic Violence Awareness Project, Domestic Violence Evidence Project, VAWNET, Prevent IPV, RHY Toolkit, and ACE-DV, and each has its own dedicated website with additional resources that you can. nrcdv.org/key-initiatives, access here. Pathways-to-safety.org, Pathways to Safety International. If you're an American overseas, your situation is different than 99% of your fellow countrymen, and this site will be a wonderful resource for you. Among such services as case management, danger to safety relocation, legal consultations for mothers seeking divorce and custody, payment of initial legal retainers, housing assistance, and funds to help with emergency needs such as issuing American passports, there is also 24-hour response to emails, as well as international phone options and live chat. PurplePurse.com, Purple Purse Allstate Foundation, financial tools, online curriculum, and webinars that help domestic violence survivors prepare for the future with a better understanding of and management skills for their personal finances. Operated by the Allstate Financial, Allstate Foundation, and National Network to End Domestic Violence. SpeakOut.worldZcuresystems.com, see the signs, speak out. 3 free online video and training courses from Avon Foundation and Ohio Domestic Violence Network. 1. Training on how to intervene as a bystander to prevent domestic violence and sexual assault. 2. How to talk to teens about dating abuse. And 3. How to break the cycle of abuse in children of domestic violence. Although developed for employers, anyone can learn from this excellent series. TechSafety.org/resources, Technology Safety. TheHotline.org, National Domestic Violence Hotline, most recognized for its 24-hour national hotline available in English and Spanish every hour of every day of the year at 1-800-799-7233. Hotline advocates provide callers with an understanding ear on a topic that can cause victims to feel embarrassed or isolated, safety planning and guidance on accessing local services. Also operates live. TheHotline.org/help, chat services with advocates every day. ThePixelProject.net, The Pixel Project. The Pixel Project offers people who are first-time supporters of the movement to end violence against entry-level opportunities to contribute their talents to the cause. The Pixel Project also provide online resources to get help and/or share their stories, including tweeting helplines from over 30 countries daily, resource pages with links to anti-violence against women organizations worldwide, and their annual Survivor Stories campaign. WISPINC.org, Women's Independence Scholarship Program, Inc. The Women's Independence Scholarship Program, Inc. is an offshoot of Doris Buffet's The Sunshine Lady Foundation. wispinc.org/link-click.aspx $link =62 tabit =54 WISP offers scholarships nationally to women who have left an abusive domestic situation and who are pursuing an education designed to provide economic independence for themselves and their children. womenslaw.org, womenslaw.org, uniquely, this site is a treasure trove of all sorts of information, though its best attributes are related to legal matters on the topic of domestic violence, including how to stay safe, how to help others in abusive relationships, understanding federal, state and tribal laws, links to statutes, and preparing for court. You can pose your legal questions in English or Spanish through its hotline.womenslaw.org, email hotline. Youthrelationships.org, safe schools, media literacy, and much more.